We know that our climate is changing and that climate models predict even more change in the future. But what do they tell us about severe weather events like tornadoes? To explore this question further, I sat down with world-renowned tornado expert and Penn State meteorology professor, Dr. Paul Markowski. He explained that this is a tough problem to tackle.
It's really hard to say. The climate models don't actually directly predict anything about tornadoes. The best they can tell us about the larger scale settings, but they don't tell us about how the tornadoes themselves form or even how the parent thunderstorms of the tornadoes form.
So if the climate models can't predict the individual storms that breed tornadoes, what can they tell us about the broader conditions?
There seems to be indication, somewhat credible indication, I would say, that conditions that could support tornado-producing storms might be increasing in the future.
Two of the conditions that are needed to form the thunderstorms that spawn tornadoes are instability and vertical wind shear. Instability is what allows the air to rise to great heights in the atmosphere to form towering storms, while vertical wind shear is the changing of wind speed or direction with height, and this is what can create the rotation necessary to form tornadic storms.
In a big picture sense, climate models tell us that instability is increasing in time, and this is mostly due to increases in water vapor. So as the atmosphere warms, there tends to be an increase in water vapor because there's a stronger evaporation of water from the oceans on the Earth's surface.
And the vertical wind shear?
Climate models also tell us that on average, wind shear is decreasing.
So if the instability is increasing on average and the vertical wind shear is decreasing on average, what gives?
The averages aren't what kill people. It's a specific storm hits at the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what kills people. So there's some evidence in climate models that even though the average wind shear is decreasing and the average instability is increasing, that the number of locations where those two ingredients actually overlap, both ingredients are there at the same place at the same time, that net total of points might actually be increasing in the future.
However, even if conditions are more favorable for tornadoes in the future, it doesn't necessarily mean more will form.
You can have an environment that could support tornado-producing storms, but you might not get any tornado-producing storms in that environment.
But even if we assume that the conditions will be more favorable and they will produce more tornadoes, Markowski believes that there are much more important climate issues to focus on.
Even in the heart of Tornado Alley, a tornado is an extremely rare event for any given location. Only every 1,000 years can you expect one location to be hit by a tornado, even in Oklahoma or Kansas. So, even if tornadoes were to become twice as common or 5 times more common in Pennsylvania 100 years from now as they are today, there's no clear policy action item.
And Markowski went on to tell me that we should be focusing our energy and resources on more pressing issues such as food shortages, drought, and agricultural issues. For Up in the Air, I'm Brian Cizik.